Hello, everyone, and happy Thanksgiving week to our attendees from the US and Canada. Thanks for joining our webinar on modernizing your document management within Office 365 Intranet. I'm Sudhi Gumi, the Director of Marketing at Biz Portal Solutions, and I'm joined by Anil Gursahani, our Solutions Lead, and Surendra Jadani, our VP of Product. So many of you are familiar with what an Office 365 Intranet is and its capabilities as a digital workplace solution. We will get into what an Office 365 Intranet is for those of you not familiar. But in short, in Office 365 Intranet, it's a modern intranet and digital workplace for your company-wide document and content management, forms management, project management, and overall communication and collaboration. It houses and combines everything you're working on in one streamlined, organized place using the power of Office 365 and SharePoint. And for today's webinar, we will be focusing on an Office 365 Intranet as a document and content management solution and how it simplifies and modernizes the way businesses and teams create, collaborate, protect, harvest their documents, content, and ultimately their knowledge. So that is what today's webinar will be all about. So without further ado, let's jump into the agenda. First, we're going to give you a quick introduction to our presenters today and our company. Second, we will talk briefly about document and enterprise content management because it is evolving as businesses small and large are shifting to a more agile, collaboration-centric, and cloud-based way of doing things. So we wanted to start here with the definition. And then third, we will talk about what an Office 365 Intranet is, its document management features and capabilities, and how it simplifies and modernizes the way businesses and teams work. Fourth, Anil will demo our Biz Portal 365 product to show you what an Office 365 Intranet can do for your document and content management. Biz Portal 365 is a comprehensive and turnkey Office 365 Intranet that instantly connects to your Office 365 environment. It has all of the features that we'll be discussing, as there are differences between other Office 365 Intranet products out there. Finally, we will end with some Q&A, so you can ask any question on what we cover. We will try to leave a few minutes for Q&A at the end. Please ask questions at any time during the presentation. Please note that your microphone is on mute, so please use the chat inside the GoToWebinar toolbar to ask your questions. So for introductions, I'm Sudhi Gumi, Director of Marketing at Biz Portal Solutions. In my previous life, I was a management consultant at PricewaterhouseCoopers, PwC, focused on digital strategy and digital transformation. I am joined by Anil Gursahani, who is our Solutions Lead. He leads our customer implementations. He has over 12 years of experience building and implementing Intranet and digital workplace solutions and is an Office 365 and SharePoint expert. He will be providing the demo later in the webinar. And I'm also joined by Surendra, our VP of Product Development and Head Architect. He is an entrepreneur who brings over 30 years of building companies and products that provide advanced, cost-efficient software solutions. He will address your questions in the Q&A at the end. As a company, Biz Portal Solutions, we are a full-service Office 365 and SharePoint shop based in Orange County, Southern California, and we have offices in Boston and India. We have a product development team that focuses on our Biz Portal 365 product and customization. We also provide implementation, planning, migration, and other Office 365 and SharePoint services. We have over 15 years of experience developing Intranet and digital workplace solutions on SharePoint and Office 365. So we're experts on these two platforms as well as the Microsoft platform as a whole. And then our customers are businesses, of course, using or looking to move to Office 365, and they vary across industry and size, ranging from small to large businesses. And then finally, we've been a Microsoft Gold partner for over 15 years as well. So what really is content management? First, we are using document and content somewhat interchangeably, but really it's about content because documents are just one piece of that puzzle. With digitalization, businesses create, use, and manage different forms of content, whether it's documents, videos, blogs, you name it. So really, we are talking holistically about content management. Then traditional content management has evolved from more a static and linear lifecycle, beginning at content creation and ending at content retention and disposal. But because of the pace of business, it has become faster. The way content is created, shared, retained, and reused has changed. So now content management is more people-centric, collaboration-centric, cloud-based, and cyclical. So all this really means is that there are simpler yet powerful and more cost-effective ways of managing your content, whether you're a small business or a large enterprise. So the diagram below here really should be in a cycle, but the content management life cycle is broken down in 4 key stages. Create, where you create, collect, and share the documents you need to get work done. Coordinate, where you structure, organize, and coordinate the content and discuss the content. And then Protect, where you secure content and manage governance and compliance with lifecycle and rights management. And then finally, Harvest, where you intelligently search, discover, analyze, and reuse content. So that kind of gives an overview description of what content management is in the lifecycle. Now, what is an Office 365 intranet, and how does it help businesses create, coordinate, protect, and harvest content? First, for those of you not familiar, an Office 365 intranet is built off of the Office 365 and SharePoint framework and extends an intranet and digital workplace solution through some development and configurations to deliver increased and more flexible usability so that you can organize and access things more quickly, have dashboard views, drag and drop features, the ability to more easily publish content. Just a few examples. 2, an Office 365 intranet delivers added functionality. So for example, the document management and collaboration features that come out of the box with Office 365 and SharePoint are enhanced. But with Biz Portal 365, our product, we have extended the functionality even further beyond the basic intranet features with modules and features for project management, forms management, and HR and employee management, and more. So with Biz Portal 365, we've extended Office 365 into a more comprehensive workplace solution that helps other critical functions of your business. And then 3, an Office 365 intranet has built-in integrations with Office 365 tools to bring in key functionality into one solution and in one unified experience. These integrations are ready to go for you to use. We will talk more about a few of these key Office 365 tools and integrations. And then 4, with Biz Portal 365, we've enabled the ability to integrate with other business applications, your CRM and ERP, for example, to bring in and distribute documents, data, and reports and bring in workflows from these external systems. And since it's built with the Office 365 and SharePoint framework, and Office 365 Intranet directly and instantly connects to your Office 365 and SharePoint environment. So imagine it as another tool in your Office 365 tool set and toolbar. So in sum, an Office 365 Intranet is really a comprehensive workplace solution that brings your business and Office 365 together in one place and one unified experience. But for today's webinar, we're focused on content management capabilities of an Office 365 Intranet. So that is what we will dive deeper into the next few slides. There are a lot of features across the content lifecycle, so I'll go through these relatively quickly, and much of this will be brought to life in Anil's demo, but I will focus on some of the key features and points here. And if there's any part where you want more information, please ask. So let's start off with the first stage of the lifecycle, content creation. The main features of an Office 365 Intranet here are real-time co-authoring, where you can collaborate on documents with multiple people simultaneously. And then if multiple people are working on a single document, there's the check-in and check-out feature and automatic versioning control so that you avoid multiple versions and rather just have one updated source of truth. So kind of a standard Office 365 feature, but very, very key and important and critical for real-time collaboration and creation of documents. And then you can house, create, edit, and easily publish and share just about any content type, from documents to company news, custom lists, rich media, including audio and video, medical DICOM files, etc. This is a subtle but important point, but it's easy, anyone, user, admin, to publish and create content and doesn't require the help of IT. And new documents are born with templates, rich metadata, and retention policies, making documents easy to manage from the start. And then you can easily share and upload files in different ways, including drag and drop. And then finally, you can dynamically capture information that lives in an email, picture from a whiteboard session, or document, and upload, edit, and share it seamlessly. Then the next stage is a coordinate. What this means is coordinating activities and common actions between people to make sure information is properly coordinated. First and foremost, with an Office 365 Intranet, you have the ability to organize your content libraries and lists in an easily formalized way with metadata and tagging. You can create richer experiences around your documents and content with the ability to add custom columns to document libraries and lists. You can change views, create dashboard views, and pin things to allow people to really zero in on the right content that they need. Then an Office 365 Intranet has built-in integrations with tools like Flow to tie in orchestration around documents. So you can set actions based on logic to automate common actions like collecting attachments from email or distributing documents for team or manager review. Then have alerts and notifications around these workflows so you can get notifications when a document has reached the next step in the workflow or if it is pending an action. For example, if a document is pending review or approval. You can also have group conversations around documents and information and share documents within these conversations with pre-built integrations with Yammer and Teams, all within Office 365 Intranet. So to streamline and organize your documents, collaboration, and communication in one central place. And then you also have Power Apps to create custom mobile experiences based on how you want to view, customize, and interact with documents and information. And then in terms of protecting, securing, and governing your information throughout the lifecycle, in Office 365 Intranet, first and foremost, leverages Microsoft's and Office 365 commitment and long tradition of supporting these key areas. So you have the inbuilt Microsoft platform security as a whole. And then, of course, you have robust user rights management where you can set roles and access rights by user. Then very key and important, you can centrally define, set, and automate your data loss prevention, retention, archival, disposal, and lifecycle management policies. You can easily define and set how long you want to keep your documents and what you want to do with them after a certain amount of time. So for example, you can just say you want to keep all contracts for 5 years and specify after that 5 years if you want to delete such content type or archive it. And importantly, this is done in a no-code way. All of this is templatized where all you really have to do is select options from a drop-down, and you can apply defined policies to content by simply tagging the documents with what are called retention tags. And then you can centrally define these policies in one place based on content type, files, folders, etc. So really a very easy and automated way to manage your documents and information throughout its lifecycle and address your compliance and audit needs. Then finally, the harvest stage in the lifecycle. Businesses don't stop interacting with the documents and information once they're saved and stored. The lifecycle, as I mentioned, is cyclical, and content exists to support a future business purpose, such as providing information on a future related decision, explaining historic context, or beginning the next cycle or iteration of content creation. So businesses need to easily and quickly find, discover, analyze, and reuse their content and information, especially as they build and store content over time. So with an Office 365 Intranet, you have powerful enterprise and global search that can search across all content, documents, events, lists, and metadata that exists within the Intranet. And then it integrates with powerful and intelligent discovery tools like Delve that understand what documents and people you interact with and brings this content to your fingertips. And it also integrates with tools like Power BI to help you visualize and understand data in a meaningful and insightful way. So this was a brief overview of the document and content management capabilities in Office 365 Intranet has across the whole lifecycle. So now for those of you looking to simplify and modernize your document and content management, we highlighted some key criteria that any solution should have. 1, cost-effective. The solution should provide a quick and meaningful return on investment. 2, which is missing, it's on here, search capabilities. You want strong search capabilities to quickly find what you need, especially across the many documents and content types you will have. 3, ease of use. Intuitive use is a must for adoption and for your employees and business to really benefit from the tool and solution. And mobile access, the ability to access documents and information anytime, anywhere, on any device to continue to drive business productivity and help mobile workforce with remote workers. Integration, easily integrate with the programs and systems you're already using and be scalable so that it can grow with you. So integration and flexibility. And then collaboration and social networking, the ability for multiple users to view and add their contributions to a single document in real time and collaborate around content and information in real time. And then security, the solution should restrict who can see specific documents and secure your documents and information throughout the lifecycle. Then across these criteria, this is how an Office 365 Intranet stacks up. In terms of being cost effective, it's cloud-based, so the licensing costs are lower. And with Biz Portal 365, we have a very straightforward pricing model. Also with Biz Portal 365, it's not just a document and content management solution, so you don't necessarily need separate solutions for your document management, project management, and communication and collaboration. And having these separate solutions is cost effective. So we bring all of this in one cohesive solution. And no IT resources are needed from setup to maintenance. We do that for you. Then if you are on Office 365, you're leveraging and maximizing your Office 365 and just getting more out of it. And then ease of use, intuitive UI with concise features. And then flexibility, I mentioned the integrations with Office 365 tools and your existing business systems that you're already using. It's customizable and it's scalable, so you can continue to easily add and organize content as your business content and teams continue to grow. It has robust search. We talked about powerful enterprise search capabilities of an Office 365 Intranet and the content discovery and curation with Delve. Mobility, again, cloud-based, accessible on any device at any time from anywhere. And then collaboration. We talked about the co-authoring and the many social collaboration type features. And then security, multi-level, role-based security and lifecycle management, audit control, and data encryption. So as a document and content management solution in Office 365 really meets these core criteria. And then of course, there are many document and content management solutions and options out there like Box and DocuWare, but Microsoft is evaluated as a leader in content management for businesses large and small by prominent third-party sources like Gartner and Forrester. And this says in these two charts, it says Microsoft, but really it's talking about Microsoft Office 365, SharePoint, and OneDrive as it relates to content management. And Office 365 Intranet brings all of these together with pre-built modules and Office 365 integrations and extended usability and functionality to really bring the full power of Office 365 together in one cohesive workplace solution. So now hopefully you have a good overview of what an Office 365 Intranet is and what its document and content management capabilities are. And with that, I will pass it over to Neil for the demo of our Biz Portal 365 product.
Thanks a lot, Sudhi. A lot of information for everyone regarding intranets, Office 365, and specifically document management. So let's go ahead and take a look at our solution. I'm sure you can see my screen now. So what we have is basically a ready-to-go intranet solution on Office 365 and on SharePoint, as you can see. Why does, in fact, talking about the last slide from Sudhi, how does this really compare to other document management systems? Well, other document management systems are a silo in themselves. You could store documents in there, and then you could have archiving, retention policies, you could search, but really it's not a comprehensive platform for business. So what SharePoint really brings, along with Office 365 products, is a comprehensive platform in which, apart from managing documents, you can do a lot of other things. So we'll get into all of these. So with our intranet, really the key features, first I'll just talk about our intranet features, is information distribution, because data is not only in documents, but it's in other information that is published. So as you can see on the homepage of our intranet, we have, from alerts to announcements, we have forms automation, all of this houses really data in them, right? We have department sites. Basically, you could store a lot of information there. You could do task management, store information in those lists for tasks, issues, and other stuff. And then we have an employee center, and I'll just quickly go through those. Employee center is really for HR management. So again, you see there's a lot of information in all of these. Again, if you want to see this product in detail, you could reach out to us and we could do a one-on-one demo for these. Now, each of these things that I'm showing you all, it comes with a document library. Okay, this is out-of-the-box solution for you all. So Employee Center, for example, has its own document library where you can store documents, so on. And then you have project management, again, a key feature for a lot of companies. They execute a lot of in-house projects and customer projects. So similar to Employee Center, a project library will have its own document center. And then we have forms for forms automation. So now let's talk, since today's topic is really around documents, let's go ahead and look at a specific department's document library. That is, I'm bringing up the marketing department here. And if you scroll down right on the home page there, you can see there's a document library with some documents stored in here. Each department could have multiple libraries in there. So you don't have to put everything in one bucket. What you can do is create individual document libraries and store documents. So I'm right now in the documents. That's the core library here. You can see there are about 6 to 8 documents. What we have enabled in our intranet is the ability for you to tag documents by metadata such as categories, subcategories, keywords, and obviously the location is right now it's at the root. So looking at this, what can you do really with these very quickly? If you had, let's say you had about 100 documents right here, you could sort it by just clicking on the categories. Now you see all the information related documents up here, and then there are some others, or you can sort it by subcategories and so on, right? So very easy way to do this. What this also enables you to do is create custom views of this. So instead of sorting it here, you could go and just bring up the views of these libraries. Okay. There are some menu options right up here. So let's look at the first one. You have manage. Manage is basically you can really manage the view of this by changing the grids. What you want enable, disable, you can do that very easily from here and then have a custom view for yourself. And then you could upload a document. So one way to upload is you can bring in a file from your desktop or across the network, give it a title, choose a category here, also a subcategory, and then put in some keywords and upload a document, right? Very easy to do it right from here. Then there are some other options. You could create a new folder. Again, best practices for SharePoint says that you don't need folders. You could just bring in documents, tag them, and you can search for them later. But we have given this functionality. This is an out-of-the-box feature for SharePoint. So you could create a new folder. If you had some filters, you could clear all of them, and so on. As Office 365 is enhancing its feature set, we are going to be working on bringing in new functionality to our document libraries. So for example, here you could sync this entire library to your OneDrive and use OneDrive. I'm assuming some of you are on Office 365 and are using OneDrive, and I'll get into that. But you could basically sync this into your OneDrive. You can connect your library to Microsoft Outlook. So what I've done is gone ahead and connected this, and I'll bring up a view for you guys. This is Microsoft Outlook. So as you can see, the marketing department document library is connected now to my Outlook. I don't really need to go and access the SharePoint library, go to that intranet page. I could just see directly in my Outlook. So you can see all the documents here. It has a great preview of all of these, and you can bring these up in Microsoft Outlook. One of the key features for any document library is the search. Now you can search for any content of the document or search across the metadata. So let's say I'm going to search for the word plan. It brings up a couple of options. I could search across the entire library or current folder, and I could search across all metadata, specifically the content housed in these documents. So let's say I select content, and it's going to bring up the search result. As you can see, this decreased the number of documents. Now, where plan is mentioned in the content, so it's instantaneous search for documents. We have discussed really what we provide out of the box here. Now moving on to this option of syncing the library to OneDrive. Let me bring up the OneDrive interface. Now in OneDrive, if you have used this before, you could have your personal files. You could have files that are shared with you. What we have enabled with our intranet solution is all the department documents. You could see it right from OneDrive. So we were on marketing. You can see that same list of documents right here. Now with this framework of Office 365, with this integration, what really has happened is we are able now to work on these documents from multiple interfaces. So as I showed you in Outlook, you saw the documents. Now you have it in OneDrive. Right from here, you could, for example, see the version history of the documents, and you see all the versions here. You could also connect it to Microsoft Flow, and you could create a flow. Now, what Flow does for documents is really build a document approval. If you needed a document approval workflow setup, you could create a flow, again, for these specific features. If you want to see it in detail, you could do it in a one-on-one session. And I'm going to show you Microsoft Flow just very quickly. So this is basically, you can start the approval. This is for when a new item is added. So for example, if a new item is added on the SharePoint list or library, it could initiate a workflow, approval workflow, and one could get notification for a document. Outside of this, going back to the library, what we also have is a view. Since this was on the homepage of the marketing department, if you wanted to see a full view of the document library, you would just come here under quick links, click on documents, and basically you see a full view of just the documents for that library. Again, you can browse and upload a document. You could create a new document or a folder right from here that is specifically for Word Online. You could initiate Word Online right from this option. As I had mentioned earlier, you can manage views and set up your own views to see these libraries. You can drag and drop documents, not only in the right-hand corner up here, but you can drag and drop documents literally into this grid. So from your desktop, you could just bring in documents, populate it right here. Another key feature for documents is the real-time editing of documents. So let's say two people are working on documents, and we are going to go through a demo of this document. It's a marketing term success document. I'm just going to bring up the Excel spreadsheet. So we have Alex logged in. He sees this spreadsheet and he's working with his manager, and I'm going to bring up another view. Now this is Megan, who's his manager, and she has brought up the same document up here. As you can see, real time. If you're making changes, as you can see, as your mouse moves to other areas, you can actually see that moving. So let's say I'm going to change this, and I've brought the cursor up here or no, you can see it's highlighted in Megan's view. So real-time editing, now you can edit these words and work on a document real time. Again, This kind of functionality is not available in other document management systems, but because of using Office 365 framework, we are able to give this functionality as part of our solution. We also have another tool in Microsoft Office that is called Delve. Great tool for business intelligence, for looking at documents, which are trending, so on. So Alex is logged in. As you can see, we are focusing on the marketing document. And on this left side, you can see the people he's been working with. And you can see on the right all the documents that have been uploaded from the team. And if you scroll down, you could see the documents from other people that have uploaded, from people around you. You can also tag these documents and create a board so you can go and search for documents easily. Concept of board, for example, marketing campaigns is a board. So I could take a document which was originally as part of my SharePoint intranet library. I could bring that here, and I could also see and who has access to these. You could get a view of these. Again, very powerful in the Office 365 framework. Another key feature of our intranet really is a global search. Now you are at the home page. There are tons of departments with a lot of documents in there. There are a lot of project sites. You just come here and you want to search for all documents relating to benefits. So we provide a very powerful global search here. So I just typed in the word benefits, and I'm just going to search for that. And it'll take a minute because it's going to go through the entire library and bring the search results. It brought up all the documents with the word benefits, and you can see it's a great tool here. You can see the preview of these documents right here. And on the left side, you have some filter criteria where you can search for all PDF documents with benefits, Word, who the authors were, also the modified date of these documents. Again, this is a feature which is key to Office 365. Moving on to other things that Sudhi mentioned in terms of retention, archiving. Let me bring up another view for you guys. This is the Office 365 admin. Since our intranet is a core part of Office 365, you can really bring in, since it's connected to the Office 365 framework, you can essentially go ahead and set up security and compliance for your documents. You could bring up the SharePoint functionality here, right here. Who can you share these documents with? Security is always a big concern for an organization, so you can set it up how you want to share your documents right here. You have records management, and again, I'm just showing you a preview of these features. With records management, you can set up, connect it to your SharePoint libraries, and set up the archiving retention features. Again, for details, please reach out to us and we can work through a demo on these. Okay, so a very powerful framework in general that we provide. I think that's in a nutshell really on document management, all the key features that we provide. Again, these documents you could bring in. We have a very easy way to import documents. For example, if you have a network file library that you're using right now, we could import all of those, set up the intranet with all those documents. We could bring in your metadata because it's very easy to customize this framework, create new categories, subcategories, so we could work with you on all of that. With that, I would like to open this up for Q&A. Thanks a lot, Sudhi.
Thank you, Anil. Thank you, Sudhi. It was a great presentation and a lot of information. I hope you all got ideas about what the product does and what you can do with Office 365. We have a few questions. I'd like to answer those. I'd like to squeeze most of them here. If I'm not able to get to your questions, please feel free to ask us. Just send us an email at bizinfo@bizportals.com. First question is, our product has a lot of documents in another tool, but we don't have Office 365. Can you help us to migrate the documents? Yes, this is a common occurrence, especially for people who are just moving from other systems to Office 365. They have a ton of documents with categories and metadata that they want to retain and move to Office 365. And we do provide service and make sure that you are set up properly and you are able to operate on your documents and hopefully much more efficiently than you were in your previous system. The next question is, we are using Office 365, where do our documents get stored? So that's another good question because there are so many capabilities in Office 365. Often people get confused as to where actually the documents are stored. So your email and documents will be stored securely on Microsoft's cloud servers. Microsoft uses OneDrive technology for all storage. So most of the storage in SharePoint and other tools get stored in OneDrive. And your document library, all the files, and some of the contents also goes into OneDrive as a base. Some of it you are able to access it, some of it you may not be able to access it, especially related to property information and other things. But all these documents are guaranteed to be backed up, and if you go to OneDrive, you'll be able to see SharePoint libraries as Anil demonstrated, and vice versa. The next question is, can SharePoint install a document approval process? Yes, it has a very detailed feature about approval processes through Microsoft Flow, and Microsoft SharePoint itself has approval process built into it. So you customize a little bit, you define what you want, how your approval process need to work between people, because some people want a single approval, some people want 2 levels of approval. All of that can be accomplished through the workflow that's inbuilt into these systems. It can be conditional as well, because some of the flow is dependent on whether the reviews are, for example, on the documents are approved or not approved, and whether everyone in the review process approved the document. So there are a number of conditions and variations that you can configure and come up with your own workflow that's suitable to your operations. And we can certainly help you. We provide that service to make sure that if you are missing something, we can make sure that you are operating properly. Next question, how does the document sharing work in Office 365? Very good question. There are many ways of sharing a document in SharePoint. First, you can create a library in any team site and provide access to a team. So the team can then have a place to store and retrieve documents from one known place. So all the people who are in the team know exactly where the documents are stored, and they access it very quickly. If you want to share an individual document, you can email a link to that document instead of copying the document, because if you send a link, then the person viewing the document will always see the recent version. You can also give explicit control of sharing for viewing and editing with someone outside the team who does not have the full library permissions. So there are variations of what you can do, and it shows you clearly per document or per library as to who's sharing the documents and who has what type of permission. The next question is, will our information be secure in the cloud? Many people have security concerns, especially these days when there are so many hacks going around. Microsoft has ensured that the security provisions cover all information, whether it's generated in email, SharePoint, OneNote, or other tools. There are antivirus, anti-spam, and anti-malware are all part of Office 365 package. All email is scanned for these functions with Exchange Online Protection, and the email is encrypted while it's in transit as well as when it's stored. So again, there are many configuration options in the admin center in Office 365, and you can set the security features that suits your organization. The next question is, this tool looks with a lot of functionality, but we don't have Office 365. Can you help us get started? Yes, we do assist our customers to get on Office 365. There are many plans offered by Microsoft. You can go to their website to check the subscription prices and let us know if you need any assistance. We can guide you through the confusing process that sometimes Microsoft has about getting the tools. The last question is, what's the difference between OneDrive and SharePoint document libraries? That's really a good question, because there is so much commonality between OneDrive and the document libraries. So let me just briefly summarize. In terms of organization, after logging into a company homepage, employees navigate to their department site or even their own site when they find all the documents they need to work on. And like reminders and notifications of coworkers' availability. So the documents get organized according to the functions of the organization. That's the purpose of having a library rather than a file storage. So OneDrive is more like a file storage, which is not very structured in terms of organization. And in libraries, you can organize it according to the teams that are using it, according to the function that it is meant for. And in OneDrive, some people try to imitate it by creating folders, and that gets very complicated and very hard to maintain. Then you can do document categorizations, document search. There are workflows you can associate with many documents in document libraries, but not so much in OneDrive. So there are limited capabilities in OneDrive. So I hope I have given enough information, and I hope you liked what you saw. Please give us a call and get in touch with us if you are interested. Thank you very much for your time.